Good evening, everyone. Wanted to come on today to share a word. Um, Had some things come up around Revelation, and so wanted to talk about that today because a lot of people don't know what it means, what different things mean uh, in Revelation because their church doesn't teach it. A lot of churches do not teach Revelation either because the pastor doesn't understand it, or they're afraid that if they teach it, that they will lose members um, from their church. Want to talk about that today. Um, Again, it's great Bible here. Don't we don't add nothing or take away from it. Been having several people come on my channel, being negative, and you got your place. Uh, that will come soon. But we're gonna get into this word today because people need to understand the true meaning of Revelation. They don't need to think that hey, nothing's gonna happen in this life, and I'm gonna live this life, and then when I die, that would be it. Nothing else happens. And we have a lot of people that think that way, and that's how a lot of them are being taught in church, and that's not true. I want to come on today and just want to try to, uh, get an understanding where people would not be confused, where they will have a clear understanding of the Word of God. So let's go ahead and get started. And the people don't understand the seals. There's questions around seals and what does it mean exactly, and what will happen. The first seal is pretty cut and dry. It says, "Now I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard one of the four living creatures saying with a voice like thunder, 'Come and see.' And look, and behold, a white horse. He who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him. And he went out conquering and to conquer." That's your Antichrist. A bow signifies power. A crown signifies a king. So there's going to be a very powerful man to come up, and he will become possessed by Satan himself, and he will rule the world as the Antichrist. And so this one is pretty simple. It just talks about the Antichrist. And he's already here. The Antichrist is already here. Remember, God told me that the tribulation would start by the end of 2025. Only time I've ever been given anything that even resembles a date. 2025, I was praying and he showed me a picture of Deagle.com. And Deagle.com, if you go to it and you pull up the United States, it shows 324 million people, I believe is what it shows on there. And then it shows at the year 2025, it shows 100 million people. So you're going to have 224 million people to disappear or die. So you're like, looking at Deagle.com, you're like, okay, they're projecting 2025 for us to lose 224 million people. Where do the people go? Okay. war, pestilence, that's coming soon. So when we look at the second seal, it says, when he opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature saying, "Come and see." Another horse, fiery red, went out, and it was granted to the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth, and that people should kill one another, and there was given to him a great sword. So that's talking about war. I think we have an idea right now with everything that's going on surrounding Israel, surrounding China and Taiwan, United States and Iran, Russia and Hamas, just the different things. Of course, North Korea is getting started. And just the different things. You can see war is coming, and you can see people preparing for war. And so that one, the second seal is war. On the third seal, it says, when he opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, "Come and see." So I looked, and behold, a black horse, and he who sat on it had a pair of scales in his hands. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four living creatures saying, "A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil of the wine." So this is talking about an economic collapse where there would be great inflation. So a person can work all day and will only be able to afford a loaf of bread. Okay, so what is bread? $3 now, something like that. You can tell my wife does this grocery shopping, but you'll probably see bread up around $35, $40 a loaf or something, or even higher. You will have massive inflation to hit, and that would be spiked by the war that is occurring. And of course, that there is a self-made food shortage that is occurring. You can look around, you can see all the food processing plants catching on fire, burning down to the ground, blowing up. A lot of different food processing plants, a lot of different snack chip plants, different things like that, catching on fire, blowing up. Cases where cattle are dying, and chickens, just massive upon massive, thousands upon thousands upon tens of thousands of chickens, millions of chickens have been dying. So, and then of course the pork, the pork network is now under attack, where they start to have diseases to hit the pigs. So you're going to see a food shortage. This is, make no mistake about it, this is being done on purpose. This food shortage is being manufactured because, remember, America has enough food to feed the entire world. Make no mistake about it. Nobody should go hungry in the world. But people go hungry even in this country because the system is set up against the poor, and they don't want poor to be helped. Matter of fact, in America now, did you know that there were cities that will fine you for helping the poor? I believe that's San Francisco. I read that a few weeks ago. They will fine you if they catch you helping the poor. But this is economic collapse, and we're seeing the food where there will be a great shortage on food, and they're going to bring in, you'll see the government start bringing in spam, things like that for people to eat, because people will depend on the government for help. Because remember, it's no longer like the older days when I grew up, where we had this humongous garden that we planted, and we only went to town once a month just to get specialty items. No one gardens anymore, so everyone is dependent upon the grocery store. So we know, statistics show that when an EMP hits America and knocks out the power grid, the prediction is that 85% of Americans will die. Let that sink in for a minute. 85% of Americans will die when the EMP hits the power grid and knocks it out. 85% of Americans will die. Also at that time, you will see Americans turn on each other. People will be coming to people's houses searching for food. People will kill each other over food. All this is in your seals here. Peace will be taken from the earth. So people will kill their neighbor that they've always been friends with for food because they're going to be hungry and their kids are going to be hungry. And yes, cannibalism will return during that time. So the fourth seal, this is widespread death on the earth. This is actually, the fourth seal is actually a combination of the second and the third seal. It says, when he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature saying, come and see. So I looked, and behold, a pale horse. So this is talking about the pale horse. And the name of him who sat on it was Death, and Hades followed with him. And power was given to him over a fourth of the earth. So with this seal here, 25% of the earth, the people on earth would die. And power was given to them over a fourth of the earth to kill with the sword, war, with hunger, starvation, with death. The word death here should be, if you have a really old Bible, it would say pestilence. So the word death here stands for pestilence. So again, and power was given to them over a fourth of the earth to kill with sword, with hunger, with death, and by the beasts of the earth. So the animals will start to turn on the people and kill them also. So you're going to have war, a combination of war, hunger, diseases, pestilences, and animals killing people. And I think we saw something like that where the animals leave the world behind, the movie Leave the World Behind, how the deers were acting. And so we saw some of that there. The fifth seal is very simple. The fifth seal is talking about the tribulation saints, okay, those who were left behind, the foolish virgins. So the church had 10 virgins, 5 wise and 5 foolish. We do know that the Antichrist will go after the Christians who are left behind, the lukewarm Christians, those who made mistakes, who did not sell out. When he opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. So they realized that once the rapture happened and they got left behind, they realized that they had made a mistake, okay? And so God left them because they were lukewarm. They had 1 foot in the church and 1 foot out, okay? And so they were living for God and they were living for the world also. So they did not overcome the way that they should have, so they were left behind. So then once they came to themselves, it says that they were slain for the word of God and for the testimony. They're going to become evangelists, those who were left behind. They will become evangelists. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, until you judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth? So they're at the altar. Their souls are at the altar, and they're asking God to take vengeance on the earth for killing them. They were given a white robe. It says, then a white robe was given to each of them, and it was said to them that they should rest a little while longer until both the number of their fellow servants and their brethren who would be killed as they were was completed. So God waited on the vengeance here, on certain vengeance here, because there were more tribulation saints to come that would be killed just like they were. And of course, it tells you later on in Revelation, I believe around chapter 20, that many Christians would be killed through they would be beheaded. Okay. Of course, we already know that the guillotines are here in America already on the military bases. Okay. They're being stored on military bases. At one time, you could find anything that they purchase is in the paperwork if you can be patient enough to look for it. And so at one time, years ago, around 2013, I found this, and I found where the U.S. government had purchased 30,000 guillotines. Okay. And so once people got wind of this and started to talk about it, then the government, I'm not going to say the government, but the upper echelon decided to step in, and they started posting this is false. They started posting that the guillotines were, that was a rumor, that it was false, that it was not true. Okay. Just like they did about the disposable caskets that someone videoed in parts of Georgia, in a small town in Georgia, where as far as you could see, there was all these disposable caskets where each casket held 3 people. And this is true. I forget the name of that town. They found it in Houston, Texas. It's all over America, if you can find it, where there's this mass amount of land with nothing but disposable caskets on it. But there was a purchase of these guillotines during the time that Obama was in office, and so Christians will be beheaded. They will be killed through beheading. So once you get to the 6th seal, that's when you get to the eschatological judgments, where you get into the cosmics. Things start to fall from the sky. Okay, and so this starts your the 6th seal. This starts your earthquakes, your great earthquakes, and you will start to see asteroids and meteors fall. So let's take a look at this real quick before we stop this. And it says, I looked when he opened the 6th seal, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became like blood. So gonna be pretty scary, because you're gonna have a blood moon and the sun is gonna turn black. And so there will be a loss of light here. And the stars of heaven fell to the earth as a fig tree drops its late figs when it is shaken by a mighty wind. So you're gonna see a plethora of asteroids and meteors falling and hitting the earth. This is not no cake ride to get left behind. So I want to make sure people understand this, because they think everything's going to be great, hunky-dory, if you will. We all going to have a great life. We're going to party like it's 1999. No. People are going to die. Mass people are going to die. There's going to be mass graves. There's going to be so many people dying that they're going to stop burying these people, and they're just going to be out on top of the ground. God, the judgment of God is coming, and it is a terrible thing to get caught up in it. And the thing that is bringing the judgment of God is sin. Sin is what will generate the judgment. So there's all these people that are going to die. And again, here it says, and the stars of heaven fell to the earth as a fig tree drops its late figs when it is shaken by a mighty wind. Then the sky receded as a scroll. When the sky is going to disappear when it is rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved out of its place. It makes me think about the verse where it says, men's hearts will fail for the things that are coming. People are going to have heart attacks when they see this stuff. And guess what? Let me tell you what your politician's going to do. Y'all ready for this? And then we're going to end this part, and I come back with a part 2. And the kings of the earth, the great men, the rich men, the commanders, the mighty men, every slave and every free man hid themselves in the caves and in the rocks of the mountains. They're going to hide themselves. They're going off in the ground. And if you don't take the mark of the beast and give allegiance to the devil, you can't go. So they're going to hide themselves in the ground. And we're going to pick up on this next time in this very spot. And we're going to talk about, too, what's going to happen to those men and women who go underground who think they are safe. And it said, they said, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath has come, and who is able to stand? They know there's a God. They know that God exists. Even the animals show you that God exists. Look how the birds fly in a V. They know that God exists. So there's this great terror that's coming on the earth that all these men and women are going to flee underground to these underground cities that they built, these underground bases, military bases that they have built, these underground, what you call it, cellar or whatever you want to call it. They're going to flee to these things to protect themselves from all these things that are going on up top. Leave poor people up top to die. But we'll talk about next time what is going to happen to these people who flee on the ground. And we know it's all over the country, all over the world, where these cities, they can drive on the ground to go to them. But we'll pause right here and let you meditate on what we talked about today. Here on this channel, you're gonna get the truth. It ain't no sugarcoat. It ain't no adding to it. It ain't no taking away. On this channel, you get the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Until next time, God bless.